Morning guys, Raj Sangha of Cardio Security. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of Raj's Garage. Today we'll be focusing on my E30 M3. Now I've already done a reveal video on this car and talked through the whole journey of how I got to this particular point. But if you've seen that video, you would have mentioned that I've got a carbon airbox, which I've had for like 3.5 years, never got around to installing it, couldn't find the right people. I've actually found the right people. So today we are dropping the car off to BMR Performance in Crawley. They will install the carbon airbox and then we're gonna have to leave the car with them. And then we'll go back in about a week. The box will be installed, the carbon airbox will be installed, and we'll have a chat with the guys there and they can tell us of any challenges, any issues, and what the next stage is. So I'm going to jump in the car, let's get over to BMR Performance. Guys, I'm here at BMR Performance in Crawley. I've got my carbon airbox. What is this? Well, you know what? You need to watch the initial episode where I talk about my E30 M3 and I mentioned the carbon airbox. So if you've not watched that episode, we'll throw a link up at the end. Make sure you watch that episode. I'm here with Barry. Welcome, Barry.
Hi, Raj. How's it going?
Very good. Owner of, one of the owners of BMR?
One of the owners.
One of the owners of BMR Performance. So I'll let you introduce yourself and why have I come to you?
Okay, so yeah, my name's Barry Sheward. I'm one of the co-owners of BMR Performance. We're an independent BMW Mini specialist. We cover a broad range of BMWs and Minis, obviously everything from the classics like you see here to some of the newer stuff as well, up to the current. All our technicians are usually BMW X main dealer technicians or works at other independent specialists. Raj has brought his beautiful E30 M3 here for us to install a DTM style carbon intake to the S14 engine. So I'll pop the bonnet and I'll show you where it goes.
Okay, so that into that doesn't really go.
Well, obviously we have to remove some of the components from the engine bay that this replaces. So the intake plenum from the throttle bodies backwards, this gets removed. The airflow meter and standard air filter housing, this gets removed. And then the carbon intake gets installed with air ducting down to the front of the engine. But it's not as simple as that. The original engine management system is an old Bosch Motronic. To allow for this carbon intake to run without the airflow meter, we have to install a piggyback ECU. This allows for the fueling to be adjusted and two different sensors are used, a different throttle position switch and an air intake temperature sensor. And this allows the piggyback ECU to calibrate the fueling correctly and the car will need to be mapped accordingly afterwards. What's the purpose of fitting this? Various things really. One,
it looks nice.
It looks nice. Two, it improves throttle response. Three, it will give you a gain in power. If combined with other modifications such as camshafts, it can give a significant gain over standard. And also, well, yeah, as you say, it looks very, very good, but also the sound it will make as well. If anyone's ever watched any of the Group A touring cars from the 80s, they would have heard the noises that these make, and that's what that does.
I think for me, it's looks and sound. I know I'm not going to get much more improvement in performance, and to be fair, it's a 30-year-old car. There's Golf GTDs that'll leave me standing at the lights.
This is true.
So for me, it is looks and the sound. I've got a CSL and I know how that carbon intake sounds. It's absolutely, it's musical.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave the car here in safe hands with BMR Performance, Barry and his team. I've had this box now for 3.5 years and it's taken me 2.5 years to work out who to get it installed. And I've used Barry previously for my 635 to service that, had a few issues and they were absolutely brilliant on that. And you know what? Why not come back to the guys that I think are probably one of the best in the industry. So I'm going to leave the car here. They'll take some photos during the installation process. We'll come back in a few days and then we'll talk about any challenges you faced, any issues, and then we'll talk about phase 2 then. So this is phase 1. Phase 2 we'll talk about at the end of this episode. So Barry, I'll leave this with you.
Thank you.
And I'll see you in about a week.
Yep.
Cheers.
Great stuff. Thank you.
Guys, we are back at BMR Performance with my E30 M3. The carbon air intake is now on the vehicle. So I've got Barry here. Hello Barry.
How's it going, Raj?
Really good, thanks, really good. So quick turnaround, thank you very much.
No problem.
Obviously you want to see what it looks like now, so I think we need to just pop the bonnet and show you in all its glory. So can you do the honors? Just wow.
Makes a big difference.
Okay, so let's get into it, Barry. Challenges, any challenges? Was it straightforward?
No, pretty straightforward. All the old parts came off, the whole intake system, the plenum, the air filter housing and air mass meter. That all came off straightforward with no issues. And yeah, the installation went straightforward. As you can see, we've got the carbon plenum, the modified throttle linkage, the relocated brake fluid reservoir, and the ducting all the way down to the front bumper, where just in front of the front panel there is an air filter housing and an ITG performance air filter. The piggyback alpha and ECU is behind the glove box, where the standard engine ECU is, so now it is all ready to be remapped live on the dyno.
While you've mentioned air filter housing,
yeah,
I've got to thank Gersh for allowing me to pinch his air filter housing, because my kit didn't actually include one. So thank you very much, Gersh. I will replace it, I promise. I'm blown away. It makes the rest of the engine bay look really rubbish, I've got to say. So I've got to obviously get the engine bay cleaned up. I think we should start the car, Barry?
Sure.
Ooh, that sounds naughty. That sounds naughty. I knew there'd be a massive improvement, but that is like night and day improvement.
Wow.
You've taken it for a road test?
Yep, we've done a short road test on the car. Obviously allowed the engine to get up to operating temperature. It does sound a lot better at higher revs, yep, but we haven't stretched it to full RPMs or anything like that, because it is on its base map, and
sure,
it does need fine tuning on the dyno.
So driving it back to Hayes for me shouldn't be a problem.
As long as you take it easy, it'll be fine.
I will do well. The M25's got start traffic, so I'll have to take it easy.
Exactly.
Now, let's get over to Hayes and we'll sort of talk about stage 2. But in the meantime, I've got to thank Barry for fitting the carbon airbox, turning the car around really, really quickly. Guys, make sure you give BMR Performance a follow. Their details will be in the description below. They predominantly work on BMWs and Minis, and they know their stuff. That's why I've bought the car here to them. These guys are true professionals. So Barry, I'm gonna thank you again. Fantastic job. I'm gonna get out of your hair, so to speak, get back to Hayes, and I'll give you an update once I've finished stage 2. Yes, there is a stage 2. We'll talk about that when we get to Hayes, and I'll no doubt see you soon. Maybe with this car or maybe with a different car.
Okay, great stuff.
All right.
Thanks.
Cheers, guys. So how does it drive and how does it feel? Well, at normal revs, it feels the same as before. At idle, it's a little bit more lumpy. Now, it could be that the car needs, obviously it needs mapping, and it could be because of that. When you are putting your foot down and going through the rev range, and I can't rev it very high at the moment because obviously I've got to wait for it to be mapped and tuned, it does sound totally different. I'm stuck in a little bit of traffic here, and hopefully there's a little opening in the road where I'll be able to just put my foot down and just give you an idea of the difference in sound now to what it was previously. I know what it sounded like previously, and it just sounded like a stock S14 engine with a nice exhaust. So you can hear it there, that raspy, throaty noise coming from the front, from the carbon airbox. Has it transformed the drive? Yes, it has. It doesn't sound like a stock S14 engine anymore. Quite impressed, actually. Obviously, we know it sounded great when we gave it a blip at BMR Performance. But yes, this does sound totally different from before. Ooh, quite enjoying that. Seems to be running fine. It's going through the revs nicely. There's nice torque, there's nice pull. Obviously the E30 M3s, it is about power delivery from 4,500 revs upwards. That's where these cars do come alive. Anything below that, it's just really a slow, old, classic BMW. Drop it down a gear. Yes, it does sound totally different. Let's get over to Hayes, give the car a clean, because it's absolutely filthy. And we'll show you the engine bay again. Oh, this does sound absolutely amazing. And then we'll talk about stage 2, because this is stage 1. So get back on the M25, no doubt, get caught in traffic, and I'll see you shortly in Hayes. Right guys, we are back at CAS HQ. Stage 1 is now complete. So let's show you this carbon airbox again. It does look stunning. We'll give it a little rev. Lovely throaty sound. Now there is a slight misfire, I don't know if you can hear that, and that's because the car's not been mapped. So stage 1 was all about fitting the carbon airbox and carrying out a inspection 2 service. Stage 2 will happen in a few days when the car will be transported over to Circuit Motors in Castle Coupe, and they will map the car. They will map the car with the Alpha N software on a rolling road. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. A little bit different to this normal Raj's Garage stuff that we upload. Episode 2 will drop in probably about a week or two's time, and hopefully when we go to Circuit Motors, they'll have the car on a rolling road, and we'll be able to film the car on a rolling road with a live tuning, and obviously get all the data and everything, and show you that as well. Hopefully the car produces more than the stock 215 brake horsepower. Now, as always guys, any comments you have, just drop them down below. We'll do our best to answer them. Make sure you give BMR Performance a follow. Their details are down below as well. Like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back again with episode 2.